Y'all, don't worry about these white South Africans coming here. They about to be the new help. You heard me. They are about to be the new help. They got rid of all the people tending the land. All the immigrants that were tending the land are gone. So what they about to do, replace them with the white South African workers. Y'all gonna be working to feed black folks.
Hello guys, welcome once again to AfriPost. I hope wherever you are, you're having a great time. Now, we know that the other day, 49 Afrikaners from South Africa, that is white South Africans, moved from South Africa to America. And the reason being, Trump had granted them refugee status because the president claimed that South Africa is doing very nasty things to these whites, and therefore there is need for them to get help. And the help he was giving them is that they have a pathway to citizenship in the United States. So one thing that people have been wondering about is that Trump is only allowing whites to be immigrants in America. And if you're not white, you're not allowed to be an immigrant because you will be faced by ICE and a lot of other forces that will be targeting you. So a lot of people have given their reactions to this. And in today's video, I want to play for you clips here that are compiled where blacks were giving the Afrikaners who are coming to America their peace of mind. So let's watch this, then come back and share our thoughts.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. All over the world, they're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia. Mexico sends its people. They're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. They don't speak the language. They don't have the culture. These are stone cold killers. They'll walk into your kitchen. They'll cut your throat. They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
Haiti has a tremendous AIDS problem. Many of those people will probably have AIDS, and they're coming into our country.
They took the criminals out of Caracas and they put them along your border, and we have to live with these animals. Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're not humans. They're animals. They're rough people. In many cases from jails, prisons, from mental institutions, insane asylums. You know, insane asylum, that's Silence of the Lambs stuff. I told them not to let the Syrians in because we have no idea who they are. They could be ISIS and they might not be, but they could be ISIS.
Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
Because they're being killed. It's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me.
Welcome. Welcome to the United States of America. We respect what you have had to deal with these last few years. We respect the long tradition of your people and what you have accomplished over the years.
Y'all, don't worry about these white South Africans coming here. They about to be the new help. You heard me. They are about to be the new help. They got rid of all the people tending the land. All the immigrants that were tending the land are gone. So what they about to do, replace them with the white South African workers. Y'all gonna be working to feed black folks. As y'all should. Get y'all asses over here and do y'all goddamn job. Y'all think y'all getting away from us. Y'all not. Y'all just gonna be working for us. Come on in the room. See, Trump knew he couldn't get our asses out there. There's no way in hell you're going to get black folks out there to work no kind of land. He could say, hey, these South Africans are being suppressed. Their land is being taken away from them. They need to come over here and seek retribution and get y'all asses in the field where the fuck y'all belong. Make sure y'all picking every fucking vegetable and don't miss out on anything. Y'all not getting away from black folks. Y'all going to be around us a lot more. And unlike the ones in South Africa, we don't give a fuck. You're not going to be able to call us colored. You're going to get your dome rocked. So be careful, tread lightly, and remember, we don't see you as African. We see you as colonizers of an apartheid. Welcome to America. Y'all, don't worry about these white South...
I don't know about y'all, but if a white South African refugee calls me a colored, if they say I'm more blacker than you because I'm come from Africa, it's on site. And it should be on site for all of them. Trump don't made himself a mistake because they all could get it.
When the white South Africans come into America, will they become African American? What do you guys think? Because typically, no matter where you come from in Africa, when you get to America, whether you're from Ghana, whether you're from Liberia, whether you are from Tunisia, whether you are from wherever you are from, when you get here, because you are from Africa, you are of African descent, then you become African American once you arrive in America. So is that what's going to happen with them? What y'all think?
Okay. I'm a little bit confused. So let me try to put the motherfucking pieces together. Now, you have ICE raids happening left and motherfucking right. You even went above and beyond to have some strong control over the border. Then you had raised like a son bitch to a motherfucking point. Y'all ended up deporting American fucking citizens. But it is absolutely old motherfucking K for y'all to bring over a plane load full of South Africans. But here's the crazy part. We only okayed the white ones to come over here, not the black ones. The black ones was completely excluded in this little plan that he had of bringing some South Africans over here. He only brought over the white ones. He only okayed the white ones. So with that being said, to all of the South African white people that just crossed over into here, I would like to say congratulations. Because now I do believe it will be y'all motherfuckers that will be working them fields out there. Because like I said, the motherfuckers that's out here screaming, make America great again. Oh, honey, they're not stepping their asses out there in the fields. But they swear up and down they want to make America great again. They're not going to do it. Us black people, oh, definitely not motherfucking doing that. Evidently, you can read back in the fucking history about that one. Hispanic people, oh, they're definitely not doing that shit. Neither are the Asians, neither are the Arabics. So with that being motherfucking said, are y'all ones that's crossing over here, you South African white people, are y'all gonna be the ones that's gonna make America great again? Are y'all gonna be the one that's out there that's gonna be working the motherfucking fields and building these fucking houses and shit? Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick to motherfucking death going to the goddamn grocery store and half of our shit is about damn near rotten because we ain't got motherfuckers picking that shit. So with that being motherfucking said, welcome to motherfucking America. It's your time to shine. Because guess what? We're not making America great again. We're not. It's your turn now.
These are the first group of white South Africans who've been fast-tracked into refugee status. The Trump administration made a big thing about cracking down on immigration and suspending the refugee resettlement program. So questions are being asked on why has such an exception been made for this group of people?
White farmers are being brutally killed and their land is being confiscated in South Africa.
Billionaire Elon Musk grew up in apartheid South Africa. He's one of Donald Trump's closest advisors, and he claims that there is a genocide of white people happening. South Africa's foreign minister says that there has been no land confiscation, and Donald Trump's claims that murders are happening in large numbers is not backed by any police data.
Shame on the United States. Shame. Shame on Donald Trump and his whole administration. So check this out, y'all. White South Africans granted refugee status by the Trump administration. Now let that sink in. Look at these people. These people are the descendants of the colonizers and the apartheid rulers in South Africa. So the government over there is using their constitution to help give land back to the native Africans. They're buying land from South Africans who own 70% of all the land. And you go, how did they do that? They stole it. Then you got Elon Musk and Donald Trump talking about there's a genocide happening. There's no genocide. The only genocides that are happening right now are in Gaza, the Congo, South Sudan. Those are really genocides, and those are really refugees. Then you got Trump, remember, talking about they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs when he's referring to Haitians. That's not happening either, and it wasn't happening. They have real status to be here, to work. But these guys, these Afrikaners, these poor farmers, they just, for whatever reason, can't make money in South Africa. They haven't been on their job. You notice there ain't no millionaires and billionaires Afrikaners coming to the United States as refugees, it's the poors. They got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. And I'm talking to you, white Americans, especially the ones who are in the lower class of poor. This really affects you. These Afrikaners are about to come over here, get free housing, free medical. They're going to get jobs. They're going to get education. And meanwhile, a lot of you are going to continue to live in rural areas, in your trailers, in your apartments, and you're going to lose your jobs because of Doge. These guys are here to get all the resources. America, that's a shame, y'all. That is a shame.
Racist white people trying to pretend like white people are experiencing some kind of racial oppression are some of the funniest people on the planet. I've been on this app for 5 years, and for 5 years I've heard this 1,000 times, and 0%, not 1, 2, 10, 15, 0% of the people that have made the statement talk about it on their page. They don't hold the right-wing people that they follow accountable for not talking about it on their page, because they also don't talk about it. But the biggest indicator that this is not happening is that the richest man in the world, who owns one of the biggest social media platforms in the world, seems to be absolutely quiet about this. We've all heard Elon Musk talking about government efficiency. We've heard him talking about cars. We've heard him talking about spaceships more than he's ever uttered a word about the oppression that white South Africans are experiencing. So instead of coming on the people's page who actually speak out against racial oppression, go to your favorite right-winger, go to Elon Musk, and yell at them about why they are not talking about this totally not made up oppression.
White South Africans are, this pisses me clean off. White South Africans are 7.3% of the population as of the 2022 census. White South African farmers own 72% of farmland in South Africa. 7.3% of the population own over 70% of the farmland. And you're trying to tell me that 7.3% is the oppressed? 7.3 eats off of over 70%. This pisses me.
Talk shit about y'all president, because I'm just trying to figure out why he's letting the white South Africans into the United States, claiming that they are refugees and that they are oppressed. If you know anything about the history about the apartheid, you will know that that is absolutely not true. White South Africans own 70% of the land in South Africa because they were what? Say it with me, class. Colonizers. You lent liquors. Okay, so now they're coming over here, but Consuela and Enrique, they gotta go. I was watching a debate from 1956 and 1957. There was 4 students debating, one from Nigeria, one from Ghana, one from Ethiopia, and one from South Africa. And you know what they were debating? About this apartheid. I don't know why it's so hard for white South African people to acknowledge the fact that they stole some shit. I hope that I pray that they are freed from the chains of being a colonizer, because y'all did.
Trump saved white South Afrikaners from genocide in South Africa.
What genocide?
He said that white South Afrikaners were subject to racial genocide. So he flew out a jet and brought them here to America for free. Now they're being celebrated.
This actually happened to all farmers regardless of race. And you know that before 1994...
What about apartheid?
White South Africans that were part of apartheid held all the political power and wealth in South Africa.
But I thought they were being discriminated against and had opportunities held from them. You're telling me they're the wealthiest still and own most of the land?
But the only people talking about this white genocide happening in South Africa is white Americans, not actual South Africans living there.
But I was told apartheid was black raising to oppress the white South Africans and give them a poor situation.
This was a preferred situation in which the rich, wealthy elite of white South Africans were only hiring other white South Africans and chose apartheid because they didn't want anything to do with the actual Africans out there.
Are you saying black South Africans Africans actually protested against apartheid? You're really gonna sit here and defend all of that?
No, because you're describing them how black people are treated in America essentially as if it's the same situation out there.
Look,
what's out here is not out there. I also
Trump just released a video welcoming the white South Africans, saying these immigrants will fit right in. I can't wait till they're my neighbors and I can say hello.
So we're hard on brown immigrants, colored immigrants, whatever type of colored immigrants. But at the second they're white immigrants, we personally fly out a jet for free to bring them over here. No green card. They don't got to pay a dime. And then we celebrate them and say they're going to easily assimilate and they'll blend right in.
Yes, because this time I know they're good people. Something just tells me others were criminal.
You're buying all this black and brown fear the media is spoon feeding you because you think Trump isn't the media. Surprise, he bought the media. He is the media now.
If he's the media, then how come he's the only source of truth I receive? Like the news is designed to keep me fearful and distracted.
Because while you're so worried about this stupid situation, you can't even fathom that you're being pickpocketed by the same person giving you these irrational fears on a country you've never been to from news you've never heard of.
This just goes further to show that people from Israel, the Middle East, Mexico, Africa, and all other countries are violent except for the ones that look like
I am superior. Where do you get this information?
It's too late. Congratulations to my new neighbors 2025.
The South Africaners that are going to be coming to the United States claiming refugee status, and the fact that Trump is bringing them here claiming refugee status for these fucking people, I think that's kind of crazy, knowing that they were colonizers in South Africa, racist as shit to be exact, and they're bringing that type of energy back to the United States, bro. We are in a time where civil war is literally going to be brung back. Like, it's about to be a civil war. Not even, I feel like it's already started, if I'm being totally like frank with y'all. But the fact that like this shit is getting how it is, has gotten how it is, it's literally insane to me. I'm low-key becoming at loss for words with all of this shit that's going on. But how can you claim refugee status in a situation where your peoples came to a whole different country and literally took territory, took land, killed, raped, slaughtered, trafficked, and so much more Africans? You get what I'm saying? And then you come to the United States, which we have plenty of colonizers in the United States. You know that? The amount of colored, I'm going to say, because the amount of melanated beings that's on in the United States, just period, compared to the amount of white people, is literally outranked. It's literally outranked. We outrank them. We're not the minority here. We're the superior here. And Trump bringing these fucking people back to the U.S. or to the U.S. period, letting them claim refugee status, giving them free property to stay on, giving them free assistance and all this extra shit. That is the most craziest racist shit. Like, y'all, these people are literally like, this shit is crazy as hell, bro. It just don't make no fucking sense.
It's like we're living in Twilight Zone. I don't get it. We're gonna deport people. We're going to snatch them up from their homes, regardless if anybody shows proof of who they are and anything else. Like, ICE agents doesn't have to prove who they are, and people don't have to prove if they have citizenship or green card status or anything that protects them to stay in this country. Sometimes you could be a U.S. citizen and get deported on accident, I guess. And then even when you find out, I guess it's just above our heads now. On top of all of this, we're now giving refugee status to white South Africans. What the fuck is going on here? Like, what the fuck?
So, tell me how this administration is racist KKK administration without telling me they're racist KKK administration. White South Africans granted refugee status by the Trump administration's first arrival is today. So, we're not letting in any type of minorities except for South Africans. Really? Really? So we're deporting people of color, but we're letting the white South Africans in the country in a, what? He's just in office for, 100 and some days? So 3 months? 4 months? And they already have refugee status here, while people of color who come from different countries can take years and decades to get any type of status here. Really? Really? The white South Africans, the part of the apartheid people, their ancestors, their grandparents being part of the apartheid, are now legally here because they're being treated really, really badly by the South African peoples. Really? They're farmers and the farmers aren't farming. So now what does that mean? You freaking oranges freaking are so upset that minorities are taking over your jobs, but you're going to let these guys come in and they're not going to take over your jobs? They're not going to take over farming. They're not going to take over jobs that you're trying to get. That's okay if they do that, right? But motherfuckers who are in wars, who are in countries that have famine, they can't come here? No, because they're the dangerous ones? Really? Really? Oh my freaking God. Wow. Yet again, KKK administration has struck again and has proven that they are the KKK administration. Please tell me that they're not. Please show me that they're not. You guys are let the first 59 South Africans come in. Not the ones that have been beaten and abused and their livelihoods and their homes or anything like that, that was removed from them or taken away from them by these guys' grandparents and great-grandparents. No. The ones that have money that can afford to come over here are here. Wow. Yep. And yet again, you guys have proven our point.
The self-proclaimed, oppressed and persecuted white South Africans have fled South Africa, claiming white genocide and white persecution. Utter nonsense. There is no white genocide. There is no white persecution. What there is white accountability. And white people, some white people in South Africa, do not want to be held accountable for what the system that has benefited them for decades, if not centuries. And they do not want to let go of power control and let Black South Africans have equal right to land that belongs to Black South Africans. So here they are, with Trump rolling out the red carpet to them, saying, welcome in, white people, immediately resettling them, sending them a welcoming committee. I mean, it is fascinating to see, especially since Trump has spent the last few months, or the first few months of his presidency, kicking out Black and brown, documented and undocumented people in America, many of whom have done nothing but work hard, pay taxes, and have never been a burden on the American taxpayer. But here Trump is using American taxpayers' money to fly in white South Africans. What's the difference, you say? Yeah, the South Africans are white, because he sure as hell would not offer the same to Black South Africans who have been the subject of genocide, systemic and structural discrimination and racism at the hands of these very white South Afrikaners. But hey, we know how it works, right? This is all about white supremacy. We don't want them in Africa. Yes, let them go. Colonizers, no wanted here. Pack up your bags and go. We don't want them in Africa. Yes, let them go. Colonizers, no wanted here. Pack up your bags and go. We don't want them in Africa.
From that clip alone, you're able to see that most Black Americans are very, very critical of Trump's idea of allowing Afrikaners to come to America and be granted refugee status with benefits from federal government. Yet there are Blacks in the United States who have taken years, gone through slavery, gone through Jim Crow laws, and a lot of redlining, but still can't be compensated or even get reparations for the sufferings that they've gone through. This tells you the double standards that Trump has when it comes to the whites that are coming from South Africa, because it seems for him, whites are an exception. They are people who must be protected. And I don't know why he sees that South Africa is doing or persecuting these people, yet in the real sense, there is nothing like persecution or bad things happening to white South Africans, because if you look at them, they own over 80% or 70% for that matter of the land that is there in South Africa. And then again, they are the richest ethnic group. So how comes these rich people are being allowed to go to United States and be considered as refugees? The question is, what does Trump know, or what does Trump want the world to know over this move? Blacks have spoken and they're not happy about it. They're even giving these whites an advice from them. So Black Americans' criticism of President Trump's policy granting refugee status to white South African Afrikaners stems from a mix of historical awareness, perceived racial bias, and frustrations with selective humanitarianism. The policy enacted via a February 2025 executive order prioritized Afrikaners' descendants of Dutch settlers who upheld apartheid, claiming they faced racial discrimination in South Africa. This move, however, has been met with skepticism and outrage, particularly among Black Americans, for several reasons. First, the policy appears to favor a historically privileged group over more vulnerable populations. Afrikaners, despite claims of discrimination, remain among South Africa's wealthiest demographic, owning disproportionate land and resources due to apartheid legacy. South African data shows no evidence of systemic persecution or genocide, as Trump and allies like Elon Musk have claimed. Black Americans are tuned to the enduring effects of systemic racism, see this as a deterioration or distortion of victimhood, where a group tied to a brutal, racially oppressive regime is cast as oppressed. The contrast is stark. Trump's administration halted refugee admissions for those fleeing war, famine, and persecution in places like Sudan, Congo, and Afghanistan, leaving thousands, many black or non-white, stranded. Secondly, the policy's racial undertone fueled distrust among Black Americans. Black Americans note the administration's swift action to resettle Afrikaners with expedited processing and chartered flights while ignoring others. This selective compassion aligns with a broader pattern of policies perceived as anti-black, from Trump's immigration crackdowns to rhetoric on invasions by non-white immigrants. The optics of welcoming white refugees while deporting or detaining others, including Haitians and Central Americans, suggest a hierarchy of worth rooted in race. Critics, including refugee advocates, call this a racialized immigration program, undermining decades of U.S. efforts to aid those in dire need. Finally, Black Americans draw parallels to their own history of disenfranchisement. The Afrikaners' claim of land expropriation echo fears of reverse racism, a narrative that resonates with those who oppose civil rights gains in the U.S. For Black communities, this policy feels like a betrayal of justice, prioritizing a group with a legacy of oppression over those still grappling with systemic inequalities. The Episcopal Church's refusal to resettle Afrikaners, citing racial injustice, reflects this sentiment. In short, Black Americans see Trump's policy as a hypocritical, racially charged maneuver that distorts humanitarian principles and ignores more pressing global crisis. This is the case with President Trump's policy of welcoming these Afrikaners, and I think he's going to receive a lot of backlash from people who understand what discrimination is, because these people, in fact, even if you watched how they were being received at the airport, there are people who are doing well. They don't look like refugees. Go to Congo and see how refugees are being displaced. These are the people who need help. Yet Trump decided to cut off anybody from those parts of the world because he felt that America does not deserve black people or people who are not white. I don't know what you think about this, but for me, I believe this is a racially charged policy that Trump enacted through his February 2025 executive order. Tell me down in the comment section what you think about this. And if you're watching us for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can also join our membership to get access to exclusive content that we always produce in this channel. Thank you, and may the good Lord bless you. Goodbye.